Derxello kind of holds up that fort. I can't really off the top of my head thinking of all the Mana Surge players, a lot of them in North America, but in Europe, Derxello has been kind of leading the charge, so we'll see if Mana Surge can win here. And of course, VS, who we actually researched what VS stood for, right?
We did research before, and it stands for, are you guys ready for this? Voidless Summoners.
Dang.
Interesting name.
Do you want to be a Voidless Summoner?
I don't know.
You're already signed on.
I don't even know what that
Nexus.
means.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means.
Voidless means like you don't have features, right? Like you're void, right? And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to be one of those. Seems creepy.
Doesn't sound great at all. Yeah.
Their team, however, might be packed with good players. Of course, Symphonus, as we see. We haven't seen a lot of VS though.
Right, definitely a team that, unlike Mana Surge, unlike HSK,
Yes.
Not out there in the forefront. This matchup's it's kind of slow. Haven versus Haven, just passing turns.
That's right, and a very interesting matchup. So like this is a matchup that can really be swingy, right? Like we see Aegis on the side of Derxello, and Symphonus playing, of course, his Tarnished Grail version. The Tarnished Grail version can win faster, but if Aegis hits the table and there's not really like any combos going on, then obviously that will just win the mirror matchup itself. However, we do see Symphonus with all of his pieces.
Symphonus, exactly. Yeah, he draws the. He's got Zodiac Demon and Avatar.
Yeah, so definitely primed to get into his late game Tarnished Grail earlier than Aegis can even come down. And being on the draw, that's going to be very important because he's going to need to do something before Aegis can come down.
Mm-hmm. Derxello choosing to go a little bit wide here, summoning 2 followers, not getting the enhance there, but Symphonus has the perfect answer in Cudgel.
Mm-hmm. Cudgel's still a great card. I built a fun Haven deck last night that utilized no Priest of the Cudgel, and it actually felt pretty good. Very weird for me not to play Priest of the Cudgel in a Haven deck, but I kind of like Birdkeeping Disciple right now in the 4 slot.
Yo,
I've been finding that
yes.
tempo is really nice. Is really
She's
nice
so
right
good.
now. Yeah. And I haven't been
Love
finding with
Birdkeeping
Haven that I really need the double clear in a lot of matchups. Like you already have, Boots if you want to play it. You have Black and Scripture. You have your Tribunals and all that kind of stuff. So I really just been liking the tempo. Like extra damage here and there really adds up.
Right, going if you can go Birdkeeping Disciple into March Hairs, oh my gosh, that pressure is insane.
Feels good. But of course, not this matchup. Both players rocking Priest of the Cudgel, being very much more defensive with their lineup. So can't hate on them.
Way safer.
In this one. We have the board and set up for a Beast Call of Derxello's own, with another one coming out shortly.
Yep. But here we're getting close to 7, so the Beast Call's not going to be that big of a deal. Zodiac's kind of interesting because even though you could just evolve Heresy's Avatar in the same turn you could play Zodiac, playing the Zodiac to kill your Heresy's Avatar is probably a bit more important against Haven, just because they could banish the Avatar and get rid of the effect of it.
Banishing that would definitely slow down Symphonus's win condition, but I believe he's gonna. I mean, he didn't put the Zodiac Demons there to not use them. I mean, we even saw Symphonus use it when he didn't need to. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think this will be an easy play here.
Also helps a little bit with board control, kind of gives lets him kill 2 followers instead of just the 1. So.
Yep. Kind of like a Saha Quill impression in a much different way.
Right.
So this is good. So I don't know if Derxello really is going to have the tools to A, stop this, and B, even if he can stop it, how is he going to win? We still don't see any Aegis on his side of the board. He's not. Okay, so he does have. Well, no, I thought that was an Aether. That's a Snow White, but Aether doesn't have that either to even search for an Aegis. So it's gonna be very slow. So he's gonna have to go with this aggro plan.
I love the Evolve the Bird here because he knows the win condition of Symphonus is going to be Tarnished Grail. So now he actually can't play Tarnished Grail. It's not going to do anything.
Which is great.
Ooh, a Themis top deck though. That's incredible for him.
Incredible, especially with the Tribunal popping next turn, means that aggro is kind of off the table now for Derxello.
He can banish Snow White and Themis, or Themis Snow White of his own. He might be suspecting that Derxello has Aegis in hand.
Yep.
But I think you kind of have to get rid of this board.
But he has a turn, right? He has a turn where Aigis can't kill him. It doesn't have Storm or anything crazy, so we'll have to wait a turn. But he will have to win in short order if Aigis is drawn for Derxello. So this is kind of the point. So Derxello knew exactly what he had to do in this Haven matchup, was be aggressive. Essentially, that's kind of like the telltale sign against Haven, right? You're playing against Seraph, you're playing against Aigis, you're playing against Grail, whatever. Just force your opponent not to have the ability to actually cast the card on the turn they're supposed to slow them down.
Right. He goes to the Banish, so Themis is probably likely, I think. No, he goes for March Hairs instead.
Ooh. Interesting.
It does give him 2 of them, though, thankfully. So this is a very pivotal turn for Derxello. If he top decks the Aegis here, he has a pretty high chance.
Yeah, this also sets him up to win the next turn after an Aigis because of the attack with the birds. So, but not having the Aigis means time for Derxello.
Yeah, that is bad news bears for Derxello.
Yeah.
Symphonus will know. He'll know, right? Like, if Aigis doesn't come down this turn, he's like, okay, well, you don't have one. I know you're trying to top deck it, so.
Yep. So Tarnish... Oh, no play. Because of the
Well,
Tribunal.
I mean, it was just that attribute anyway.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Oh, go
Doesn't
Curate.
play Grail.
Right. I like this. I like this. Get to where even if he draws Aegis and plays it, you don't die immediately in one attack, so.
So very just interesting thought process that Derxello has here. So he's using his Tarnished Grail as I want a board so that I can just kill with Astaroth's Reckoning instead of just winning with the cards that you get off of it. So kind of a different way to look at it, and I kind of like that.
Oh, Symphonus definitely Grails this turn for sure. Symphonus,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, Grail plus Guardian Sun.
I guess you
seems
could curate
pretty
again,
strong.
right? You could Guardian Sun curate. No, never mind. You're popping. They're popping Tribunal next turn. Yeah, every time. Grail.
Doesn't get the Dis's Damnation.
Yeah, he does.
Does get a Silent Runner though. I mean, not. I'm
He does
sorry.
get
The Astaroth's Reckoning.
Yeah, Astaroth's Reckoning is the one that puts him in 1. Oh, there's the Aegis top deck. Without the Astaroth, that's huge.
That is huge. So now Symphonus is going to have to navigate this game without the Astaroth. This is going to get hard. I mean, he could opt to pop another Tarnished Grail, but he's got 9 cards in his hand, so that will overdraw most of what he draws, so that's probably not a good option.
Instantly plays a Snow White here. Gets the damage from Silent Rider in. I like this. It does have Ward, which is pretty good, so.
Pretty good. I think this will prompt the Themis from Derxello here.
Right.
Because you don't want to take any extra turns if you can afford not to with Aigis here. You just want to win now.
Right. And do keep in mind that the battle log will show your opponent what you got from Tarnished Grail. So Derxello knows all 3 cards that Symphonus gained.
That's right. And another couple wards here, plus a Curate this turn, will keep him safe. And we don't see another Themis in hand for Derxello. So Symphonus will have at least another turn to play here.
This Guardian Sun is having a humongous impact on the game. Tribunal?
That's
oh, no.
good.
Tribunal Cleric Lancer.
Yep. He's gotta at least understand that Snow White, if it gets to attack face, will be lethal. So
oh
he's
yeah,
gotta
for
make
sure.
sure that
He
that's
knows
not a
this damnation
possibility.
exists, so he's gonna go for he's gonna get rid of this and Cleric Lancer, and that's really bad. Themis exists, but it doesn't get rid of Aegis.
Right. Now, saying that, Servant of Darkness is big enough to survive an attack from me, I guess. So this will actually give him another turn.
Right, this is
And
actually,
all of these wards.
Yeah, Heresy's Avatar. This Guardian Sun is doing so much work. Oh my
So
gosh.
much work.
That's actually just going to be game, isn't it? He can get rid of one of the 4/5s.
Well, I mean, he can't get rid of the 13/13. That's not happening.
Right.
He can
Well,
put down another
can.
ward in Grimnir.
He actually can. He can attack it with everything and get rid
Oh,
of it after
everything.
Grimnir.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the plan you want to go with. Yeah, I think he has to do his... Let's see. If he plays Grimnir, kills one of the 4/5s, kills one of the 4/5s, has a 13/13 left over with 2 wards, he still has a possibility to win this.
I think, the better place to kill the other, yeah.
Yep. And Themis doesn't do the same thing for Symphonus, as his Servant of Darkness will die to the Themis. So can't use that in the same way.
Tribunal.
So Tribunal 1, yeah, still can't get past the second ward.
Grail can
Thanks, babe.
almost do it. Oh my gosh, that
Almost.
one life on Grimner.
And there's no Evos, so Heavenly Hound will not gain wards. So this might be a Heresy's Avatar just to produce some ward, but that won't allow for the Tribunal to be played. So this is
Actually, Tribunal kills 2. Tribunal kills 2 followers. It could just give him lethal.
Oh my goodness. That's right.
I actually forgot completely about that. Tribunal could just give him lethal.
I'm not gonna lie. This is the first game I've actually seen Heresy's Avatar in action. So this is all new ground for
I
me.
forgot for a second that completely that it would work on Tribunal. Yeah, it could, or both could randomly hit Aegis.
Okay, he decides to give it up.
So, okay, I like this much safer play. I like this.
Basically, just needs to keep a follower that can deal damage in play. And yeah, there's no defense for Derxello anymore here. And no Themis to clear the board. Yeah.
This is gonna be Symphonus' game. He didn't go for the gamble, and Derxello top deck nothing.
Winning through Aegis because of Guardian Sun. Like,
Guardian Sun. Oh my god.
Crazy.
I mean, a 5-play point 13/13 ward is pretty good.
Pretty good, especially when it can brick wall an Aegis for not 1 but 2 turns.
And that is lethal with just the Dis's Damnation.
Yep, that's it. And Derxello knows it's there, so he knows he's done. What a game. What a game. What a game for Haven. This is might be like usually when we talk about Haven mirror matchups, we're like, all right, get the pillow, yada yada. This was not a pillow game. This was oh my goodness, look at all the crazy stuff that's happening. This is awesome. Starforged Legends, everybody. Welcome.
It's so crazy to see an Aegis lose too.
Right.
Because
in play against Haven.
Like really annoying untouchable card. Like,
all right. So we actually see that Symphonus's Dragon deck did not get banned here.
Yeah, that's is that a bug? I don't know if that's a
is that a bug? I don't think so. I think he really just didn't want to play against the deck for Symphonus. So that might cause some trouble. PDK getting 2 games to win is going to be pretty rough for Derxello here, I think.
Yeah, I can imagine that it can eke out 2 wins. He's playing a version that has 1 Aqua Narade, 3 Hippogriff Riders, 3 Siegfrieds, and no top end above Forte. So it's got Inas as well. It's much more of an aggressive sort of PDK. But
I've actually seen this shift a lot over the week. I noticed it about 2-3 days ago. People started switching away from the Genesis Dragons, mostly to include Siegfrieds, because the deck didn't really have a way to beat mirrors. Like, how do you beat your opponent's PDK? So Siegfried adds a nice little spicy tech there. And then once you kind of add Siegfried, it kind of feels like more of an aggressive deck anyway. And then people started throwing in Hippogriff Riders and then Phoenix Rider Inas again. And then it was just like, all right, I'm playing aggro dragon that just has a way better game plan now. But it's still PDK at heart. It doesn't have the Bahamut's and the Genesis Dragons of some of the other decks.
Right. Hippogriff Rider is a great way to translate, like kind of convert those like really weak bad followers you're playing into actual damage. So
and the card that we already talked about in Staircase means that you can actually play out your Ivory Dragons, your Dragon Summoners, your 3-drops, like to basically just dump everything and then just have Staircase to fall back on.
Exactly. Yeah, Staircase an amazing card.
But
both
we are
players are playing that. Both players are doing that, yeah. So this is gonna be a lot of face gameplay.
Aqua Narad actually really good as the one up here to be drawn against aggro Sword because it basically just puts more stats onto the board, which you need against Sword to try to clean up the board as much as possible.
Turns off that Centaur Vanguard top deck. You already had one anyway, but it does turn off the other one. Oh wait, no, it's Commander on board, isn't it?
Yeah, Commander. Princess is a Commander.
Was interesting that he chose to trade those 2 followers in then.
So yeah, Novice Trooper probably the play here. Yeah. That way next turn he can play out 2 things. And that 1/3 is probably not going anywhere, to be honest.
No. Too beefy.
He could choose to Siegfried it, but Siegfrieding a 1/3 doesn't feel good. And you can't really plan on your opponent having 2 Centaur Vanguards to fall back on turn 4. I mean, it will stink if he does keep this Princess Vanguard in play.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of an awkward play to make. It would be amazing against this particular hand, but it's very awkward to do that.
And yeah, I mean, honestly, his options aren't great. He could play a Scyther to help clean up a board next turn. He could just flood the board. Oh, okay, he is going to go for it.
Going for the full board clear. Okay. I like this a lot, actually.
I like
and we
it.
know this turns off Derxello's hand pretty hard, so...
Yeah, very great play. Not seeing the information that we have for turn 5 Council of Card Knights, of course.
Every time. Every single time.
Every time. Okay, and Derxello opting to use his Evo point a little defensively here.
I was mighty but too proud.
Decides to keep board advantage. I like it.
Ooh. Prime Dragon Keeper drawn for Symphonus. Another Prime Dragon Keeper drawn for Symphonus.
Okay. Interesting to note that we haven't seen any Fire Lizards or Matildas yet to kind of help clear up these early game boards that Derxello is presenting. So,
Right.
not drawing all the cards that he would like to see right now.
And to make the distinction, he actually is playing 3 Fire Lizards and 3 Matildas. So he has access to 6 Fire Lizards. So...
Right. Ephemera drawn here, very good as well. This will turn on basically everything that Derxello has in hand. That's kind of what Sword does.
Ooh. Derxello evolving for face here. It's a pretty pivotal turn.
You can get this one.
I like this. This is basically going to dictate the rest of the match. This is saying, Derxello, I'm in race mode now. I'm not in trade board mode anymore. I'm just going to try to go face and kill you.
I like it.
We've got each other.
And these Scythers still not turned on. But next turn will be pretty huge for him. Depending if he can even get anything off the board.
Yeah, the Bane can be used on a ward being played, so I like that.
I think this is probably a council. He could even opt for Albert here, but Albert's kind of weaker to the Scyther that's already in play.
Oh yeah, he's got a board clear. He definitely has to board clear. If he doesn't board clear, he risks getting hit in the face pretty hard by a Hippogriff or an Aina, so...
That's right. That's kind of like actually a nice little turning point. So if this was regular PDK, you might say I want to keep the board full because they can't play PDK. They'd have to trade their board. They'd have to do all the stuff themselves. But because of Hippogriff Rider and Phoenix Rider Aina, you kind of, he's like, I don't care.
He doesn't care, yeah.
Like, I'm going to keep your full board. And Symphonus doesn't have either of those cards. No Hippogriff Rider, no Phoenix Rider Aina to gain. Like, Phoenix Rider Aina right now would be massive.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely massive.
Bane's with his Bane.
Probably going to opt for as much of a board clear as he can.
Your Majesty.
Unfortunately for Symphonus, he can't actually kill this Ephemera.
No, but putting himself into a really good position to basically make a scary board for Derxello.
But
So
that doesn't matter.
That's
Albert
right,
Centaur.
because Albert Centaur. This is a new
Albert
play
Centaur.
that we haven't seen in a long time, but insanely potent.
It all ends here.
We're talking about.
Well, I mean,
what,
we've seen
9
Albert
damage?
before.
Well, we've seen Albert before, absolutely. But the combination of Albert plus Ephemera plus like Centaur Vanguard, very new and very potent. Like you have Council of Card Knights, you have Alwidas, you have Roundtable Assembly, you have, you know, Vanguard being played with anything else for more Storm, even a Juliet, you know what I mean? Just like tons of damage out of nowhere, access for a sword. Sword's still really good. I'm actually really surprised not to see more of it this week from the Euro side of things.
Well, we might have seen it, just not at a top 8.
Right, I guess that's true. Maybe a lot of people did bring it, but people had a lot of defensive decks to stop it, so.
Right,
true.
I do believe that Battlefy would have the whole stats that you could look at, but
That's true. It'd be very interesting to see how many people brought mid sword this week versus aggro sword. I'm assuming obviously aggro sword would be in the majority, but to see how many people are still trying to make mid sword work.
right, same, yeah.
We see it
Do you
pop
consider
up.
like a full commander sword? Do you call that mid sword?
I call pretty much anything that sword does that's not aggro mid because I don't really feel like
Okay.
it can play a control game.
Yes. Okay.
Like
Actually.
it still ends just like aggro does with Albert, right? Like that's still your main win condition. You're just doing different things in the mid game. Instead of dealing all your damage early, you're just trying to set up a defense, get him down to 10, and then win with Albert. So it just plays out differently.
So Dragon versus Haven. PDK, the aggro deck going second.
And I actually like Haven versus PDK, but again, very draw dependent. You have to get your board clears, you have to get your early game, and this is going to be even harder than normal, I believe, because of all of the aggressive followers so early for Symphonus. So I actually
Mhm.
haven't tested this matchup very much.
Derxello
the
has an excellent hand so far. You can just play the Snow White and trade into anything that Symphonus plays.
That's right. Getting all of his late game cards early, so knows he will have access to it, but no 1-drops here for Symphonus.
Even as a Frog Cleric, ooh, oh my gosh.
It's a very nice curve.
Dragons roar.
It'll be interesting to see if Derxello can basically couple this really nice early game being on the play. Does have his tools now. Okay, I was gonna say without a Themis, I was kind of scared, but now that he has the Themis, I think he's pretty good looking for the rest of this game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or he's looking good to win this game. I don't know if he's good looking or not.
Oh, crystals of snow.
Should have left it that way. It was much better
Yeah.
that way. Come on.
Yeah, that's true.
Choosing to pop the Snow White, forcing it to value trade, basically. But I mean, Tribunal also just clears the board anyway, so. Ooh, Angel of the Word.
Yeah,
Talk
that's
about a
nice
punish.
little tech. I feel like realistically, for those of you trying to build Haven, if you are gonna play Snow White right now, I highly recommend playing Angel of the Word on top of it because it just lets early board clears happen so easily without evolution orbs. Very very clean answers, especially to the decks that we see like Aggro Sword and PDK.
True that, true that. And Evolve coming out of Symphonus here just to get a little board control.
I can't say I like this Evolve very much. Reason I say that is because using any of your Evolves not to deal damage in this matchup might hurt, especially because Derxello has heal.
That is true. These Frog Clerics heal for a good 3 when they're enhanced for 4, so.
Crystals of snow.
Not to mention, this game is going to be pretty closed out next turn when he ethers this Cleric Lancer out of his deck.
Yeah, so Cleric Lancer, we never saw, right? Aether came out and it's
Ever.
just like, look, if I can play all of these wards in a row, like how are you gonna break through them? You don't even have to Evo the Cleric Lancers, they're just monstrous. And the reason they're so good now is because wards are so good now because of all the storm that's happening with the PDK decks and the aggro sword decks and all that stuff. So wards just went up, Cleric Lancer went up, Aether of the White Wing made Cleric go up even more. Really
Another
like that.
Evolve from Symphonus, not going face again. Probably killing the
Wow.
Frog here. Yeah.
Wow. What do you think of this line of play? Do you think he's going to be able to actually take over at some point with the damage? Or
Well, his hand is very clunky,
Mhm.
so I'm not sure. But I think this game effectively, as far as like his control of it, was gone a long time ago.
It's true.
Given Derxello's draws his hands this game, this has been in Derxello's seat the whole time. He's been driving this game the most of the time.
In my mind, I'm not really worried about the damage from an Aegis deck that often early. And realistically, if I have a big clunky hand like this, my thought is I need to save all of my evolution orbs for Forte specifically, so that I can actually win the game at some point. With him using all of the evolve orbs like this, I honestly just don't know if he's going to have the damage capability
He
to
won't.
finish the game out fast enough.
I really do not feel like he will, mostly because Derxello is answering everything that Symphonus is doing like perfectly. So
Turning off Hippogriff Rider, turning off Phoenix Rider Ina to not get great advantage. And honestly, he has the Themis if things ever really get that far out of control. Now, in
Exactly.
saying that, there is a Staircase that's about to pop, and Staircase could kind of change this game. It gives a lot more fuel than Derxello
he
actually
also
has.
did just draw a Scyther, and Scyther's pretty big here. He can bane down this humongous Cleric Lancer.
The actual best card against Cleric Lancer right now in PDK. Scyther, of course. And then we'll also get that Staircase to pop for next turn. So actually, not looking too bad anymore, and mostly
But
just
his
because
third
of
evolve
Staircase.
was just used on not base damage. And he's
Wow.
gonna probably summon the Tamer as well. Yeah, this is actually not that bad of a Themis, honestly.
No. That's a very interesting Evo there. Like, I maybe can understand the early tempo ones, but this one, do you really need to kill the 1/3? I don't know.
Goes for Frog instead, okay. Oh, I think he's going to evolve the Frog and then, yeah, Dogma the Tribunal. Much better,
Yeah.
I like that actually.
Makes sense. Saves the Themis for after a Staircase turn.
All right. Much, much better. Draws a Cleric Lancer. Not really castable. Still doesn't have Aegis. Derxello amazing at not drawing the cards that win his
Yeah,
games.
well,
in a late
he's
game.
only playing one with his Aether package.
Oh, he is,
so-
right, yeah, that's right. Well, I guess you do pull it out with Aether of the White Wing. I couldn't think of her full name. But
Yeah, Aether of the White Wing. You have to wait till turn 10 to do it, but technically it gives you more copies than most old Aegis decks had. You just sometimes have to use your Aether the way we did earlier as well, so you have to be careful.
Because you're technically playing 4, right?
Right.
But only
Staircase, the backup Staircase, really good here for Symphonus. This gives him basically just a really good lock on card advantage going into this late game, which is really nice.
That is true. Ooh, and his 3rd PDK drawn now. Derxello did draw another Themis though, so.
Yep, this PDK might hold off, especially with playing the IL first here. So.
Hippogriff for 2, when Hippogriff could convert for a lot more. I think he's just getting tired of these Themises and these board clears and everything, but...
yeah.
Grimnir with the insane value.
We haven't seen Grimnir at all this season. Grimnir's been lacking from, like, everyone's deck. Giselle's like, not mine. I like clearing the board.
Like, Grimnir. Heck yeah.
That's right.
The flames are like a god on
So this is going to be one of his last extents into the board here.
Care to touch?
Oh yeah. Do you flood here if you're Symphonus? Do you flood?
I think I do, mostly because Staircase is popping, and I know that he's gonna wrap the board regardless because I have PDK out and it's my last one, so it's a very valuable Themis. Now
because he doesn't Fire Lizard, so at least he keeps that. It's good.
Not playing the Fire Lizard is a little weird to me. I would have liked to see the extra damage get popped there, especially because there's no PDKs left in the deck to activate it anymore. But what he's really hoping for here, of course, is Fortes. He needs to draw those Fortes.
Doesn't draw a single one. He does get his last Scyther, though. Derxello's still not drawing really anything relevant, except for maybe Tribunal. Tribunal's not that bad.
So, yep, this is nice little tempo play here, and if he can build up a big enough board, that Aina can do a nice little Forte impression, so... However, Derxello has nice board clears this turn.
Yep, it's got a full clear because of that top deck.
Angel board doing work even on turn 10.
Yeah, Angel the word insane in the current game.
Yep. So I think we're just going to see a pop out here. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, Symphonus is still drawing a bunch of cycles. You can flood the board again while also clearing the Angel.
Yes, and I like this.
Well,
I would be thinking if I'm Symphonus right now that I need to hopefully, and still not playing the Fire Lizards.
He's saving the Fire Lizards. It's really interesting. It's like...
It is interesting because literally the only thought in my mind is my opponent's not going to have any more Themis. I really need to build up this Aina as fast as possible to give my opponent as least amount of time as possible to deal with everything. But now Cleric Lance are being played. This is really rough for Symphonus here now. However, he's got plenty of time. It's not like Derxello's going to win the game in short order by any means.
Right, Derxello's dodging all of his tutors, he's dodging all of his card draw, he's dodging all of his Aegis, so...
And what do you... I guess you have to use the Aina to pop here. You probably should have done it before that, but it doesn't matter. Still enough. And now this is looking really good for Symphonus.
Worse and worse for Derxello the more this goes on, because Forte is in Symphonus' hand now. Grimnir, okay. Alright.
This is the downside of only playing one Aegis, right? Even if you are playing the Aethers, you just don't have them to immediately play out, so...
Well, to be fair, he's got a lot of card draw, so that he's also just not hitting. He's not hitting cards that are relevant.
Well, unlike the other decks that we saw, he's only playing Globe. He's not playing Sacred Plea alongside of it.
That's true.
And pretty much all the decks don't play Radiant Angel anymore, so they don't have like that mid-game like just extra draw engine. They're not playing Grandpapa Banish. The 6-play
that Grimnir was a pretty good turn, though. This is actually not looking too bad for him.
It's mealtime.
Even though these Fire Lizards are gonna get played. Ones get played, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering what are these Fire Lizards doing. Aegis, one time off the top. Shave it. Nope. Oh, it's a card.
Quite.
Card that draws more cards is always good.
Yeah, I suppose you played the Beast Call here. I don't see any downside to it.
Right.
So your board is going to get cleared up regardless. And it'll set you up for a nice Themis turn and then being able to pop Beast Call.
Well, if you
After
do
this Grimnir's gone, though. This, ugh. I might even just go all Faith and Wrath now.
If you Wrath now, no. If you Wrath now, you're weak to Storm.
You're weak to Storm anyway because Sybil's already in play. And it will gain life again.
That's true. Well, I mean, I don't think you really care if it gains life at this point. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Symphonus is gonna. He's not
Saving
gonna
it.
play Forte. He still didn't play
Saving
Forte.
it.
He's
I
baiting
like
it. Yeah.
I like saving it here.
Another
This
beast
will
call is
prompt an
pretty weak.
attack with a Themis.
Oh gosh. Yep. Derxello.
No. Left for the Forte. He's gonna have to top deck out of this one.
This could be really, really bad.
Okay. All right. Yep. This is a defining turn here.
Derxello literally has to top deck something that answers this, and then answers the Hippogriff after.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that will
pulls
pull an
Aegis.
Aegis, and
Yeah.
not good enough.
He
Ouch.
finally drew it. Oh no. Poor Derxello.
Derxello, never drawn his Aegis in time. Poor guy. I feel bad for Derxello. He needs
I really-
a
yeah, I
fair
do also.
shakedown.
Yeah.
You know what? My PSA for Derxello is stop playing decks that can brick because it has shown that your decks like to do it. Don't do it anymore, man.
It's almost like he has a stand that just hangs on his back that causes him to have bad luck. I don't
Yeah, somebody put a kick me sign on his back that says actually just Shadowverse bricks on it, and he just didn't know
Poor
it was there. It's been
Derxello.
there for a long time. Poor guy. But Symphonus holding on even when it looked bad to just push
Right,
this
yeah,
game.
not to downplay the way Symphonus played that. You know,
Of
Derxello
course.
could have just not had a clear. You know, it could have just, gone all out with the Forte, but he played it beautifully. You're right.
Yep, held his resources when he needed to, didn't overextend like we even thought we should, or he should, and then just cleanly ending that game.
Symphonus takes the win, and Derxello is knocked out as we are on the loser's end of the bracket, and Symphonus will continue. The journey is still going to be long for Symphonus, but that means Derxello is going to have to try again next week if he wants to make it into Season 3. And it's a really tough situation for him. I mean, he had so many turns, and it wasn't like he was drawing necessarily bad options, right? He had Grimner's